Okay, so the first step of this one is going to be pre-serging your edge. Once your edge is serged, then you're ready to head to the ironing board and put on your fusible webbing. Okay, so we have our pre-serged edge. Now we're going to cut a piece of our webbing to the size of our hem. And we're going to press it up about 1 inch. And then using our press cloth so we don't get the shiny fabric, we'll melt that fusible webbing. Okay, so now we have our 1 inch press, and that is fused down so that it won't move on us as we stitch. And so we have that extra stabilization in our fabric. Okay, now we're gonna head over to our domestic machine and get that set up for this next stitch. Okay, setting up our machine for this particular stitch. This one is going to be a double needle. So you will need your twin needle. I'm going to go ahead and change that out right now. We will still use our walking foot. And on these Burninas that are in the lab, there are 2 different spots where you can put thread. So looking up at the top, there's this one that's horizontal, and then you also have the vertical one. You will need to put a spool of thread on each of those because you will have 2 pieces of thread coming to your needles. And then you will thread both of those through the exact same path. Okay, and then we're going to use a different type of bobbin thread. This is where our woolly nylon is going to get used. So you have on your supply list woolly nylon, which is this, or it could also be called bulky nylon, which is this type of thread that is like a plush thread. The way that it is constructed allows it to have extra stretch. So you're going to fill a bobbin with that thread, and that's the bobbin thread that we're going to use for this particular sample. Yes, so thread through the needles is standard machine thread. Just your bobbin is the woolly nylon. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that up to my surface so I can be ready to start stitching. This one, we're going to do just a basic straight stitch. So on this machine, that's a number 1. The needles on the front will both be doing a straight stitch, but just purely by the fact that we have 2 on top and 1 on bottom, the bobbin will go back and forth between those needles and will look like a zigzag stitch. So I'm also going to loosen up my stitch length. So it defaults to a 2.5. I'm going to go up to a 3 or maybe even a 3.5, depending on your fabric. If you have trouble with your fabric getting sucked down into the machine, you can lengthen it up to a 3.5. Okay, and then I'm going to, again, line up that left-hand needle with the 1-inch mark. Double check that your needle is not going to hit your foot as it goes up and down before you get started. So hand crank it, make sure it's not hitting any of your foot. If it is, you can push your needle to the left or right to make sure that it's centered up with that hole on your foot. And then we're going to go to that 1-inch mark. There we go. This one, we do have a back stitch, so I'm going to go forward a couple stitches and then back. And then just run along that 1-inch marking. Until we get to the other side, and we'll do a back stitch there as well. So on the front side of your sample, you're going to have that double needle. And on the back side, you're going to have a zigzag that's going right through your serge. Okay, and this one, like I said, will stretch. It doesn't have as much stretch as a cover stitch, but it does allow your fabric to stretch without the threads popping. So this is a good backup if you don't have a cover stitch machine available to you.